Gurudev, so how can education serve as a counter to radicalization? The education must go beyond imparting technical knowledge while teaching engineering, medicine, or law. It is equally important to teach moral reasoning, empathy, and self management. Students should learn to question, reflect, and develop a sense of responsibility towards society. If education remains purely factual and skill oriented, young minds can still be vulnerable to extremist ideologies. Ancient texts like the Vedas and Upanishads stress the cultivation of virtues alongside intellectual growth, a principle still profoundly relevant. Meditation and awareness programs in schools can be transformative. When youth engage in guided meditation or breathing practices, they develop the mental resilience, focus, and emotional balance. Gurudev often stresses that even highly educated individuals can become radicalized if they lack the inner discipline. Counter radicalization isn't about policing thoughts, it's about nurturing a consciousness that naturally resists dogma, prejudice, and aggression. Moreover, continuous engagement is necessary. A single intervention or workshop is insufficient. Programs must be ongoing, adapting to evolving societal challenges. Integrating ancient wisdom, symbols, and modern psychology helps create a holistic learning environments where knowledge is harmonized with ethical and spiritual grounding. Now, Gurudev recently interacted with 20,000 youth in Jammu and Kashmir, promoting meditation and a drug free lifestyle. How can this connect to broader societal issues like radicalization and mental well being? The direct engagement with youth is critical. Many who become radicalized are searching for meaning, identity, and stability. Meditation, self awareness practices, and a drug free lifestyle address these needs. When young people experience the inner calm and clarity, they are less susceptible to extremist narratives. They learn to regulate emotions, develop empathy, and channel energy into constructive pursuits rather than destructive ideologies. It's a long term process of cultural and mental transformation. Symbols like the flag, Kovidar, and Om provide continuity and grounding, while practical tools like meditation and breathing exercises build resilience. This combination of values based education, spiritual anchoring, and psychological well being empowers you to make conscious choices, creating a society that is peaceful, responsible, and rooted in both knowledge and ethics. Now, Gurudev's model emphasizes integration, intellectual understanding, moral clarity, and inner experiences by addressing the mental health, reducing susceptibility to dogma, and cultivating awareness. We can transform communities from reactive and fearful to conscious, balanced, and compassionate. In essence, inner transformation at the individual level scales into societal harmony, countering radicalization, extremism, and violence over generations. Now, Gurudev has often spoken about radicalizations in regions like Jammu and Kashmir and the Northeast. How should one understand the roots of this phenomenon? The first point to clarify, as Gurudev emphasizes, is that radicalization is never a mass phenomenon. Often we tend to assume that entire communities lean toward extremism, but that is not accurate. What we see is a minority of radical elements who, through certain circumstances, be it historical grievances, social isolation, or economic disadvantage, begin to adopt extreme ideologies. Exactly. From the perspective of the Vedic themselves, and we observe that the majority of people are inherently inclined toward harmony and coexistence. Radicalization becomes visible when communities feel attacked, marginalized, or misunderstood. For instance, when incidents occur in the region, even non radical families may feel compelled to support or sympathize with their own out of confusion or fear. This is an emotional response, not ideological commitment. And this is where spiritual and community interventions become essential. Spiritual organizations, NGOs, and government initiatives play a crucial role in bridging these gaps. Techniques like group meditation, dialogue circles, and stress releasing practices help individuals recognize their shared human values beyond religious or ethnic identities. We also emphasize understanding the nuances. In Jammu and Kashmir, the undercurrent may involve separatist sentiment mixed with the religious identities. In the Northeast, the mixer could be ethnicity and religion. Addressing radicalization effectively requires engaging with the human heart, not just political solutions. Gurudev repeatedly reminds us the majority are peaceful, pro national, and yearn for harmony. If we focus on nurturing the majority, radicalism loses its influence. Now, Gurudev mentions that sympathy for radicalized individuals or their families can confuse communities. What does this mean? Yeah, Gurudev, this is a critical insight. Many times, communities are torn because they feel the tension between moral truth and social loyalty. A person might not subscribe to radical ideologies personally, but when a family member or neighbor is involved, there is an instinctive emotional alignment. This is where the confusion emerges. Precisely, spiritual practice can help here by teaching discernment through Sudarshan Kriya, meditation, and mindfulness. Individuals cultivate clarity and inner balance. They learn to respond consciously rather than react emotionally. In areas with communal tension, when people cultivate the inner awareness, their choices shift from fear-driven sympathy toward thoughtful support for harmony. Now, NGOs and spiritual organizations often organize peace circles or dialogue sessions that bring together conflicting groups. These interventions allow people to voice fears, ask questions, and dispel misunderstandings. It helps communities see that while a minority may act radically, the majority still desires unity and peace. Another point Gurudev emphasizes is the importance of repetition and consistency. One conversation may not suffice. Constant reappraisal, regular interaction, and practical engagement, like collaborative community projects, slowly rebuild trust. And the objective is to heal emotional confusion and show that peace is not passive, it is an active collective choice. Now, how do these insights apply to regions like Manipur, where long standing coexistence has been disrupted? The situation in Manipur highlights how fragile communal harmony can be. Under stress, communities that live together for generations can suddenly feel estranged because of external pressures, misunderstandings, or political exploitation. Here, the division becomes emotional as well as social. From our perspective, the lesson is that reconciliation requires both strategic and spiritual action. Gurudev emphasizes hearts and minds together. Practical measures like dialogues, collaborative work, and mediation must be coupled with inner transformation through meditation and spiritual exercises. Indeed, the spiritual practices help reduce the emotional volatility that fuels conflict. For example, the Bhastrika and guided meditation calm the physiological stress, while the Sudarshan Kriya releases pent up anxiety. When individuals are emotionally stable, they are more open to dialogue and less likely to be swayed by divisive narratives. Additionally, teaching communities to separate ideological extremism from human empathy is critical. Just because someone acts out in anger or fear does not mean the entire community supports it. Highlighting shared values, rituals, and cultural commonalities can rebuild bridges. Gurudev's wisdom reminds us the majority in any region want coexistence. Our work is to amplify their voice. Now, Gurudev also mentions the role of separatist sentiment intertwined with their religious identities. How should society address this? This is a subtle but a powerful factor. Separatist ideologies often exploit religion to gain legitimacy. When communities feel their identity is threatened, they may gravitate toward extremes. Understanding the emotional triggers is as important as the political narrative. Spiritual and social interventions are uniquely suited to address this. Practices like guided meditation, community satsangs, and stress management workshops foster inner resilience. When people feel secure and connected with themselves, they are less likely to identify with their divisive ideologies. Gurudev advises that governments, NGOs, and spiritual organizations should work collaboratively. There is no single solution. A mix of dialogue, education, engagement in arts and culture, and spiritual practice nurtures a sense of belonging while countering extremist narratives. A key insight is to treat radicalization as a minority problem. The majority is already aligned with peace and national unity. By providing platforms for expression, education, and mindfulness, society can strengthen this majority and reduce the impact of radicals. Spiritual techniques act as the glue that fosters empathy, patience, and community cohesion. Now, finally, what strategies ensure that peace and harmony are sustained, especially when tensions persist over decades? Sustaining harmony is a long term process. Gurudev emphasizes that peace is active, not passive. It requires constant dialogue, revisiting challenges, and reinforcing community bonds. Spiritual practices play a pivotal role by cultivating patience, resilience, and clarity. Education is equally vital from the Vedic Dharma Sansthan perspective. Teaching ethical values, empathy, and unity from a young age lays the groundwork for future harmony. And the local leaders, teachers, and spiritual guides must be equipped to meditate and mediate and foster dialogue consistently. Moreover, stress management and inner balance cannot be overstated. Individuals carrying unresolved emotional conflicts or fear are more vulnerable to divisive ideologies. Techniques like Sudarshan Kriya, Pranayama, and meditation transform the inner turbulence into clarity, enabling people to make choices aligned with their collective well being. Now, another critical factor is inclusivity. Any peaceful building strategy must acknowledge diverse identities without alienating communities. Recognizing shared aspirations, security, livelihood, respect, and spiritual growth forms a unifying framework. Gurudev often says we must operate on the premise that the majority wants harmony. If policies, dialogues, and spiritual interventions continually empower this majority, the minority extremist influence diminishes, and naturally, over time, society learns to respond with understanding, dialogue, and compassion rather than fear, creating an enduring culture of peace. Now, Gurudev has often spoken about the need to prevent radicalization and help people progress. In today's context, how can we understand the roots of radicalization and ensure people move toward prosperity rather than extremism? The radicalization is fundamentally a response to fear, deprivation, and a lack of meaningful purpose. Gurudev emphasizes that human beings are innately inclined toward growth and happiness, but when they encounter prolonged injustice, poverty, or exclusion, a small minority may turn to extreme ideologies. The key is not to focus solely on these radicalized individuals, but to build resilient societies where education, mindfulness, and spiritual awareness are accessible to all. Art of living programs, particularly Sudarshan Kriya and meditation techniques, help people process stress, release inner turbulence, and build clarity. When individuals experience inner peace, their susceptibility to extremist narratives diminishes significantly. From a social religious perspective, radicalization often exploits ignorance about one's own faith and a misunderstanding of others. Gurudev's approach is unique because it combines the inner transformation with the communal outreach. Faith based organizations, alongside governments and civil society, have a crucial role. Initiatives such as interfaith dialogues, community service, and education can prevent radical tendencies from taking root. By engaging people in constructive work and spiritual growth, we create environments where prosperity and social harmony thrive. Radicalism is not eradicating through force alone, it requires transforming the hearts and minds of people. Now, Gurudev often highlights the importance of collective responsibility. How can governments, communities, and spiritual organizations work together to prevent extremism? The collective action is indispensable. Gurudev teaches that lasting change comes from both personal and societal transformation. Governments can ensure equitable opportunities, transparent governance, and rehabilitation programs. Meanwhile, organizations like the Art of Living can facilitate stress relief, moral education, and empathy building practices. When people experience inner calm through meditation or breathing techniques, they are less likely to react violently to provocations. For instance, regular participation in Sudarshan Kriya has been scientifically shown to reduce cortisol levels, enhance emotional regulation, and foster resilience. Quality is crucial for a society free from extremism. From the traditional and spiritual side, we encourage practices that reinforce the moral values and understanding of Dharma, promoting respect for diverse faiths. Gurudev's wisdom emphasizes the synergy between spiritual education and civic responsibility. Interfaith dialogue forums, collaborative community projects, and mentorship programs can bridge divides. The public must also actively engage in these efforts. Prevention is not solely the government's duty. Radicalized individuals often feel alienated, but when they see genuine care, mentorship, and opportunity, they naturally gravitate away from extremism. In essence, this is a societal immune system against radicalism, and everyone, the faith leaders, educators, law enforcement, and ordinary citizens, must play their part. Now, there are mentions of historical conflicts like the Crusades. Today, we see tensions in multiple religions, including radical Islam and other extremist ideologies. Is there a brewing conflict of religions, and how does Gurudev's philosophy address this? Gurudev's insight is deeply relevant here. While history has witnessed the violent clashes over faith, today's world is interconnected with centuries of shared contact and interdependence. Modern tensions often arise not merely from theology but from fear, misunderstanding, and political manipulation. Gurudev emphasizes the inner transformation as the antidote. Many individuals cultivate clarity, compassion, and equanimity. They see the shared humanity in others rather than differences. Art of Living programs trains participants to transcend ego and fear, qualities that historically fuel conflict. This is why dialogue, meditation, and service can create lasting peace across communities. The religions, in their essence, are not in conflict. Extremist tendencies distort the spiritual teachings for political ends. Our role as custodians of Dharma is to highlight the universal principles of truth, compassion, save, or selfless service that transcend the ritualistic differences. Gurudev's methodology combines these timeless teachings with practical engagement. Communities must remember that radical ideologies thrive in ignorance and alienation. Programs promoting literacy, empathy, and interfaith understanding reduce the risk of conflict. While we honor our traditions, we also recognize that harmony is a shared responsibility, and religious institutions play a key role in fostering it. Now, how do the spiritual practices like those taught in art of living courses specifically help in preventing radicalization and promoting the social harmony? The spiritual practices are transformative because they address the root causes of unrest, fear, anger, and helplessness. Techniques like Sudarshan Kriya, Bhastrika, and guided meditation recalibrate the nervous system, reducing stress and impulsive reactions. Participants develop emotional resilience, clarity of thought, and a sense of interconnectedness. When individuals feel grounded and fulfilled internally, they are less susceptible to extremist ideologies. Gurudev's approach integrates the personal peace with the societal responsibility. Participants are encouraged to engage in seva or selfless service community projects and interfaith dialogue. This not only reinforces moral values but also builds empathy, reducing radical tendencies. From a dharmic perspective, spiritual practices purify the mind and reinforce the ethical conduct by internalizing the dharmic values. Individuals naturally reject violence and extremism. Gurudev's emphasis on meditation and self awareness ensures that societal harmony is not imposed externally but arises from genuine internal transformation. When communities collectively engage in spiritual practices, there is a multiplier effect. Peaceful individuals inspire others, creating an environment where radicalization struggles to take root. Over time, this fosters a resilient society where progress, prosperity, and harmony coexist. Now, looking into the future with religious extremism on one side and global challenges on the other, how do you envision applying Gurudev's wisdom to create sustainable peace and prosperity? Jagadev, the future requires a dual approach, inner evolution and outer action. Gurudev teaches that peace is not merely the absence of conflict, but the presence of harmony in hearts. On a global scale, we must cultivate mindfulness, empathy, and ethical responsibility. Governments and faith based organizations should collaborate on education, rehabilitation, and social empowerment programs. Meditation and breathing practices taught widely can reduce aggression and increase cooperation. This approach is proactive rather than reacting to radicalization. We prevent it by creating a culture of inclusivity, understanding, and personal well being. Sustainability of peace also requires honoring dharmic principles while embracing modern societal frameworks. Gurudev's vision encourages global collaboration, where different faiths and nations work together without compromising their spiritual identity. By addressing poverty, providing education, and offering spiritual guidance, we mitigate the conditions that breed extremism. Rituals, meditation, and seva become tools not just for personal upliftment but for societal resilience. In the next century, a world guided by inner peace, ethical governance, and interfaith collaboration can transcend historical cycles of conflict, achieving prosperity and harmony for all. Now, Gurudev has often mentioned that negative forces seem more active than positive ones. Even the positive minded people are more in number. How do you see this dynamic in today's world? Jagadev, absolutely. What Gurudev highlights is very real in today's societal dynamics. Negative minded individuals or groups often act immediately. They react with anger, aggression, or radicalization without hesitation. This is because negativity tends to be urgent and expressive. It demands attention in the moment. Positive minded individuals, on the other hand, tend to be reflective, contemplative, and cautious. They weigh consequences, consider multiple perspectives, and act after thoughtful deliberation. This reflective nature, while inherently wise, makes them appear less active in the public sphere. Adding to that, from a socio-cultural perspective, extremist groups like the ISIS thrive because they manipulate emotions, fear, and division, often exploiting weaknesses in community structures. They act fast and decisively, but Gurudev emphasizes that instead of reacting with fear or anger, positive forces must consciously increase their presence and influence. It's not a numbers game, it's about the quality of action. The right minded people must actively participate in dialogue, education, and initiatives that promote peace, understanding, and empathy. Meditation and mindfulness become critical here. They help individuals remain centered, reduce reactionary impulses, and respond rather than react. Exactly, when positive people increase their activity, not just online but in communities, schools, and workplaces, it creates a counterbalance. The more we cultivate compassion, awareness, and equanimity in ourselves, the more resilient society becomes against manipulation and divisive ideologies. Gurudev's wisdom encourages us to focus less on the existence of negativity and more on strengthening our own inner positivity and outreach, which has a ripple effect in resolving conflicts peacefully. Now, Gurudev often mentions meditation as a unifying force. Can meditation truly impact the societal issues and not just individuals' well being? Absolutely, meditation is often seen as a personal, but Gurudev consistently highlights its societal impact. When individuals meditate, they cultivate the inner calm, clarity, and emotional stability. These qualities are essential for resolving conflicts, building understanding, and communicating effectively. For example, in programs with prison inmates, participants report feelings of liberation, reduce anger, and enhance empathy. This inner transformation naturally extends to their interactions, helping to reduce tensions both at a personal and societal level. Now, from a cultural perspective, meditation has always been a tool for fostering unity. Gurudev emphasizes that meditation strengthens awareness and reduces the impulsive reactions that often lead to societal conflict. In today's context, where extremist ideologies and radicalization are rampant, meditation equips people with the ability to respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally. When a community collectively embraces meditation, there is a measurable increase in harmony and constructive dialogue. Scientifically, meditation has over 100 proven benefits: mental, physical, emotional, and even at the genetic level. It reduces stress, enhances empathy, and improves focus. The more people incorporate meditation into daily life, the more communities reflect its benefits. World Meditation Day is an example of how collective meditation can create a wave of positive energy globally. It's not about ignoring reality, it's about approaching challenges from a grounded and balanced perspective. Now, Gurudev has spoken about conflicts and complex situations where vested interests fuel negativity. How should right minded individuals approach these issues? In Vedic tradition, understanding the root cause of conflict is critical. Gurudev advises that while negative forces exist and are active, it is essential for positive minded people to be strategically proactive. This involves understanding the dynamics of conflict, identifying areas where dialogue and education can help, and initiating interventions without reacting impulsively. Conflict resolution is about empathy, patience, and awareness, qualities that meditation enhances. Exactly, the right minded individuals must focus on constructive action rather than being consumed by the existence of negativity. For instance, when communities are polarized or extremist ideologies attempt to dominate, the first step is awareness, followed by peaceful engagement. Meditation provides clarity to recognize not just the problem, but also practical solutions. Gurudev points out that when positive forces become as active as negative ones, society begins to stabilize. It's about channeling energy effectively. Consistent, measured, compassionate action wins over impulsive aggression. Now, from a Vedic standpoint, Dharma emphasizes balance, engaging positively in social, cultural, and spiritual initiatives while being mindful of one's own actions is key. Meditation aligns with Dharma. It strengthens discernment, reduces reactive tendencies, and encourages outreach rooted in understanding rather than fear. The message is simple: don't underestimate the power of positivity. Small, consistent efforts, meditation, and compassionate action collectively can counteract the loud, fast, and often chaotic negative forces in society. It's about being proactive in unity rather than reactive in discord. Now, many say meditation is beneficial but are skeptical about its practical applicability, especially in high stress environments. How do you address this? The Gurudev's insight is critical here. Meditation is not escapism, it's a practical tool for enhancing mental resilience. In high stress environments like conflict zones, workplaces with extreme pressures, or even jails, meditation allows individuals to center themselves, observe situations with clarity, and make conscious choices instead of impulsive reactions. Prison programs under Art of Living have shown remarkable transformations. Inmates report reduced aggression, better communication skills, and a sense of emotional liberation. From the Vedic viewpoint, meditation is a tool for cultivating inner strength, which is essential when external circumstances are chaotic. High stress situations often amplify negative tendencies, leading to aggression, fear, or despair. Meditation counterbalances this by fostering calm, self awareness, and emotional intelligence. It aligns with the principle of sthita pragya, being steady in consciousness despite external challenges. Moreover, science supports this. Studies show meditation reduces cortisol levels, improves brain function, and positively affects the DNA expression, which enhances resilience. So, while skeptics may see meditation as passive, it is profoundly active, preparing the mind and heart to respond optimally, maintain ethical integrity, and even inspire others. Gurudev stresses moderation. Too little or too much meditation is counterproductive. The key is a regular balanced practice that aligns the inner harmony with the outer action. In essence, meditation becomes a bridge linking spiritual growth, psychological stability, and societal impact. It's a practical, measurable, and transformative. Now, some critics argue that too much meditation may detach individuals from reality. How should one balance spiritual practices with active engagement in society? Gurudev has emphasized moderation. Meditation is not a retreat from life, it is preparation for it. When done correctly, it enhances awareness, empathy, and clarity, allowing individuals to engage in society with more efficiency, compassion, and understanding. Active engagement fueled by meditation is not reactive, it is conscious action rooted in inner calm. For instance, volunteers working in social service, education, or prison reforms programs often report that meditation gives them patience and emotional stamina to deal with challenging situations. Now, from the Vedic perspective, this balance is essential. The Dharma is about integrating spiritual practice with the worldly duties. Meditation refines the mind and heart, ensuring that actions in the world are aligned with righteousness, compassion, and justice. Excessive detachment can be counterproductive, but combined with social responsibility, it becomes a powerful tool for societal transformation. Now, Gurudev often points out that collective meditation, especially on occasions like World Meditation Day, the 21st of December, not only uplifts individual consciousness but creates a ripple effect across communities. It strengthens the ability to resolve conflicts, counteract radicalization, and build bridges between diverse groups. This essence is simple. Meditation fuels action with the wisdom, balance, and positive energy, transforming both individuals and society. Now, the integration of meditation with the active service embodies the ideal path of the Vedic tradition where inner development and outer responsibility go hand in hand. When positive minded individuals cultivate meditation and compassion, society naturally shifts toward unity, understanding, and harmony. Now, how does a meditation impact the mental health and radical thinking in individuals today? Meditation, as Gurudev often emphasizes, is not merely a relaxation technique, it's a scientific tool for mental balance. When one meditates, it profoundly influences the physiological and psychological parameters. Cortisol levels drop, serotonin and oxytocin increase, and the nervous system stabilizes. This is especially relevant today because studies indicate that 1 in 4 individuals worldwide faces mental health challenges, including anxiety, depression, and feelings of isolation. Meditation helps regulate these imbalances, but beyond mental wellness, meditation has a transformative effect on human consciousness and societal dynamics. People with radical mindsets often search externally for fulfillment or validation, sometimes turning to extremism. When they practice meditation, they encounter the inner peace, a peace that is self generated and independent of external circumstances. This realization allows the minds to step back from reactive emotions like rage or fear, fostering rational thinking and empathy. Many who were once entrenched in radical ideologies experience a shift toward understanding and compassion. In essence, meditation equips individuals to navigate life without being swayed by anger, prejudice, or fear, creating a ripple effect of harmony in communities. Now, from a traditional dharmic perspective, meditation aligns with it with the ancient wisdom that true spiritual evolution starts within. Our scriptures consistently encourage practices that cultivate the inner tranquility, clarity of mind, and emotional stability. When individuals engage in such practices, they are not only improving mental health, but also embracing the dharmic principles of self control, balance, and righteous action. Gurudev's guidance bridges the modern psychology with the ancient dharmic practices, demonstrating that spiritual disciplines have profound, measurable benefits for both individuals and society. Now, is meditation religiously or faith specific? Religiosity or faith specific, can it transcend the boundaries? Jagat, this is a question we fear frequently. Many assume meditation belongs to a particular religion, but Gurudev clarifies that meditation is fundamentally spiritual, not religious. It's an experiential practice designed to awaken consciousness, not to impose dogma. Spirituality surpasses the religious boundaries. Consider history. Buddhism, Islam, and Christianity each have multiple sects, yet the core teachings of Buddha, Prophet Muhammad, and Jesus remain singular and universal. It is meditation itself that meditation is the central teaching of all these various religions. Hinduism itself encompasses the countless traditions and interpretations. Meditation therefore belongs to everyone, regardless of their faith, because it taps into the universal human experience of peace, awareness, and inner joy. Indeed, and the recent recognition of the World Meditation Day at the United Nations, initiated by Mexico and supported by many nations, including India, exemplifies this universal appeal. Meditation is now acknowledged globally as a tool for mental clarity, societal harmony, and cross cultural understanding. As Gurudev says, the initial skepticism or prejudice that individuals may have toward meditation dissolves with experience. They realize there is no religious compulsion, only a personal transformative journey. This universality is critical. People often come seeking stress relief or emotional balance, but end up discovering a deeper connection with themselves and the world. Meditation nurtures empathy, patience, and a sense of unity, which are essential in a diverse society. It's a practice for humanity, not for a particular faith or sect. Now, how does meditation contribute to addressing modern societal challenges like loneliness or extremism? Like the modern society faces crises beyond material concerns. Loneliness, social isolation, and rising extremism affect mental health and social cohesion. Mental and meditation directly addresses these. Loneliness, for example, stems from disconnection both with oneself and with the world. Meditation fosters self connection, teaching the mind to find contentment internally. People begin to feel a sense of belonging even in solitude, which paradoxically strengthens their social empathy and reduces societal friction. On the other hand, extremism often arises from unmet psychological needs, anger, frustration, or a longing for purpose. Meditation shifts the mind from a reactive state to a reflective, peaceful state. As Gurudev emphasizes, when individuals recognize that peace resides within them, the external triggers of hate or violence lose their power. From a dharmic perspective, this is precisely why the scriptures advocate the regular spiritual practice. It builds the inner strength, self discipline, and moral clarity, and this is supported by science. Meditation reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, while increasing oxytocin, the bonding hormones. Physiologically, the brain becomes more balanced. Psychologically, individuals experience less agitation and greater emotional stability. When scaled across communities, this translates into reduced conflict, more rational dialogue, and fewer instances of radicalization. Meditation is thus both a personal tool and a societal intervention. Now, can meditation be integrated into national or global initiatives for peace and well being? Absolutely. In fact, Gurudev participates actively in global forums, including Geneva and New York, to promote meditation as a vehicle for peace. The idea is simple yet powerful. A society of individuals who are mentally balanced, emotionally stable, and spiritually aware will naturally foster harmony, cooperation, and tolerance. Countries like India have long recognized the value of yogic and meditative practices, and international initiatives such as the World Meditation Day showcase how these practices transcend cultural or religious boundaries. From the dharmic standpoint, such initiatives are in perfect alignment with the principles of Sanatana Dharma, which emphasizes the universal welfare, the Loka Sangraha. When individuals meditate, they not only improve personal health but they contribute to societal well being. Public programs, retreats, and yatras that include meditation serve as a bridge between ancient dharmic wisdom and modern societal needs. It's a call for collective introspection and awakening. Meditation in this context is a global language of peace, whether it is reducing stress in corporate employees, helping youth overcome anger, or guiding leaders toward empathy. Meditation has practical applications. Gurudev's vision is that spiritual practices should complement, not contradict, modern societal structures, creating a more balanced and harmonious world. Now, how is devotion and spiritual practice like the upcoming Ram Yatra connected to meditation and societal awakening? Neither devotional practice or bhakti and meditation are complementary. Meditation stabilizes the mind, cultivates the inner awareness, and reduces the mental turbulence. Bhakti channels this stabilize the energy toward love, surrender, and communal harmony. Gurudev's upcoming yatra, beginning in Ramnathpuram and moving to Rameshwaram, exemplifies this integration. It combines the physical pilgrimage, devotional singing, and meditative practices, creating waves of positive energy across communities. Historically, pilgrimages and devotional gatherings have served multiple purposes: spiritual growth, social cohesion, and cultural preservation. In the current context, they also act as a practical medium for countering negativity, fostering empathy, and re establishing the dharmic values. Meditation practice during the yatra ensures that participants are internally aligned, which strengthens the societal impact of the devotional wave. Indeed, and the timing is significant. The Art of Living's 45th year coincides with this yatra, symbolizing decades of spiritual education and a societal transformation. As Gurudev highlights, when individuals experience both the meditation and devotion, their personal peace naturally radiates outward. Societies benefit when inner tranquility is multiplied across communities. creating a sustainable model of harmony and understanding. In conclusion, whether through meditation, bhakti, or combined spiritual practice, Gurudev's teachings remind us that true societal transformation begins with the individual. As the people awaken within, communities transform, extremism diminishes, and humanity can embrace the diversity and beauty of the world in a harmonious and celebratory spirit. Gurudev.